Good morning, everyone. You're welcome to the day 2 of the International Men's Day seminar. Firstly, I'd like to apologize for kickstarting this late. It was due to some technical challenges beyond our control, but I assure you that the time we have left will be fully utilized. I just want to welcome you all to this session. And in fact, I would start that by saying a happy International Men's Day to every one of you in attendance this morning. As men, we do deserve a day to be celebrated, a day a day set aside, to look at the things that are important to us, the things that are of value to men, and a day to foster relationships between ourselves and also between our colleagues and women, even in the workplace. So today we are going to be joined by an outstanding gentleman, Dr. Larry Izamuje, who is the chairman and CEO of Brilla Media Group. I'm sure if you are a man, especially if you reside in Lagos, you would have heard the word Brilla before, and that's because of Brilla FM, which is a huge, in fact, it is the first sports radio station in Africa, and we're going to be joined by this amazing gentleman this morning. I'll just quickly go through his profile before we warmly welcome him into the session. Just a brief moment. Okay, so Dr. Larry Izamuje is the founder of Africa's first sports radio station, that's 88.9 Brilla FM. He's the executive chairman of Brilla Media Group of companies with interests in publishing, printing, broadcasting, digital services, and consultancy. He's a member of the Institute of Directors, IOD, Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria, APCON, and a number of other bodies. He attended the University of Lagos from 1981 to 1984 and graduated with a Bachelor of Science and a degree in sociology. He also holds an MSc degree in sociology from the same institution. Dr. Izamuje was awarded a Doctorate of Business Administration degree by Business School, Lausanne, Switzerland, for his academic work in changing the values and labor mobility in small and medium organizations in Nigeria. He also has a honorary Doctorate of Science degree from Salem University in Lokoja, that's in Nigeria. He was one of the members of the 12-man presidential task force for Nigerians' participation in the South African 2010 FIFA World Cup. And he's a vastly experienced broadcast and sports business consultant who first covered the FIFA World Cup in France '98. I'm sure we all remember that particular World Cup. He has served as a member of faculty of the Executive Sports Management Program in the Lagos Business School over the past few years. Dr. Izamuje is named as one of Nigeria's 60 sports icon by the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports. And this was done in our 60th independence anniversary in October 2020. Like I mentioned earlier, he has a very huge profile. I just want each and every one of us to warmly welcome Dr. Larry Izamuje into this grand occasion this morning. You're very welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I am informed that video sharing is disabled by the administrator. So I hope the administrator will keep working on that. Well, let me begin by congratulating us men for our International Day, and also to heartily thank your bank for inviting me to do this talk. Greetings to your MD, a wonderful gentleman, and also everyone who has worked on getting this whole thing together today, every one of you. Too many names to mention, but again, I thank you all. I am told to do a short talk. I hope it will be short, but we'll do some explanations on the workplace, the value of men, and fostering a better relationship with the women. And I'd like to begin with this preamble. You know, here we are so many who believe in religion, whether you are a Muslim or a Christian. At the end of the day, we take different paths to God Almighty. And so permit me to start on this note, quoting something from the Holy Book of the Christians. You see, in the Garden of Eden, God told man, tend this garden. And so work was prescribed. And man was again told, you are the Lord here. Everything here you will control. So man got self-worth there. How man destroyed it is a completely different story. Again, discussing and reading books, I came across something some time ago where it was stated that men and women at the end of the day are the same because one head, two eyes, the same nostrils, one mouth, two ears, and what you have flat on your chest, they have protruding, and what you have protruding after your tummy going down, they have inside. Two legs, and so in a way, we are the same, talking jokingly. Value and values. Value comes with self-worth. How do you see yourself? How do people perceive you? That's what you want to look at as value. And then when it comes to values, values clearly represent what the office prescribes or the principles of the office. And so your value, your worth, in the eyes of your organization, in the eyes of your colleagues in the organization, depends greatly on the workplace values. And so when we talk about value and values, value is for you. How do you see yourself? How do others see you? So it comes down to what someone characterized as a looking glass self. And then values you want to define as the denominator for value. And so the values of the company will be used to measure you and see who you are in the workplace. Workplace values are the principles and expectations that drive and guide behavior and activities. And so your value in the workplace depends on the workplace values. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. I hope you're hearing me. Okay, fine. So workplace values are the principles and expectations that drive and guide behavior and actions. They may be codified, in which case they are in a handbook. They may just be expectations. So not codified, but things that they expect you as a man to do. They impact the employee or individual with the core principles that form the company's DNA. I will explain some of this, but next slide. Next slide. So workplace values and you. Workplace values and you. How do people perceive you? How do people see you? Workplace values and you. Because at the end of the day, the value of the man, the value of the worker will be measured against the expectations, the principles of the workplace. And so we are trying to narrow your behavior to the workplace and your worth in the workplace. So what is that saying that will make them value you? Or what is that value that you bring to the workplace? Do you respect your company policies? Do you even know your company's policies? So let's start ticking. As you listen to me, let's start ticking. The value of this man, the value of that man in Heritage Bank. Does he understand company policies? Does he respect company policies? Is he loyal to his employers? How professional is he? How accountable is he? Does he give time to details, or he just wants to rush through anything given to him without being meticulous about it? Can managers rely on you to get the job done? Are you the one who lights up a room, or when you get into a room in that office, everywhere is dim? In which case, we're talking about attitude. You know resumption time. How early do you get there? Do you have team spirit? Can people work with you? Or no, your workspace in the workplace is always guarded? You know, some people we call chair and table keepers in the workplace. They don't want anybody to come near their tables or their chairs. So are you that kind of person? Do people talk to you? How often do they talk to you? So we're looking at the value that you bring to the workplace, the value of this man, of this employee in the workplace called Heritage Bank. How do you see the opposite sex? Have you come with your biases? Or you are a local chief in your village employed by Heritage Bank. Therefore, what they say in the King's Palace must hold in Heritage Bank. Or you are told that they are the weaker sex. Therefore, to you, any job that has to be done, even if they qualify to do it, they cannot do it because to you, they are the weaker sex. How honest are you? Mistakes here and there, do you see and correct? Do you add value? Are you proactive? Do you respect others? Do you give commendation, recognition, and also get saved and appreciate? How motivated are you? Oh, you applied. Remember the first letter you wrote? I hereby apply. Are you still that motivated? What killed your motivation? So as you tick these boxes, you will see the value of the man, the value of this worker at the workplace called Heritage Bank. Achievements. You've been on the same position for too long. Why? How did you celebrate your last raise, your last promotion? Or have you checked why you have not been promoted? And now you blame it on somebody and not your work. Do you make the difference? Are you the one they can call on when the chips are down? What kind of work ethic do you have? Are you the type that will say, we must do everything to ensure it is Heritage Bank? Next slide. When we talk about values at work, we can list as many as 50, 75. Some have gone as far as 75. So I've only just brought a few for you. But at the end of the day, the value of a man, the value of the worker is determined by how enveloped he gets with the values of the office. And so value is individualistic. It comes down to your own self-worth, to how you perceive yourself, how others perceive you. So of what value is this worker? So they are looking at you from a micro level. And so values, like I said, may be coded in your handbook, or may just be a set of expectations by the management of your company. I'm talking about your company. Somebody sat down and got the vision and just said, we can do a bank called Heritage. So he became the visionary, or one or two people sat down, and so they became the visionaries. The whole idea for them is to get people that will take the vision out and become external marketers of this vision. They may not just be there looking for depositors or to open accounts with the bank, but they may be people who, by their own dressing, their conduct, their self-worth, become great ambassadors of the organization. So the visionaries, at the end of the day, the bottom line is to make profit. But profit cannot be made without men of value who are enveloped, who are enmeshed in the values of the office. And so these visionaries came up with the organization. Because it is an organization and you need people, they came out with a mission. What do we want to do? And looked for missionaries. And so at the end of the day, rather than say they looked for workers, they looked for laborers, which may be derogatory, they looked for you. You are a missionary, carrying the banner, carrying the emblem of the bank. And so there is the strategy, the workplace strategy. And so based on that strategy, there is also the workplace culture. So the workplace culture is what we now call the values, the norms, the ethics of working there. These collectively form what we call organizational behavior. And so they form the culture, the way things are done in the bank. And of course, part of it will be how to hire people, how to fire people, how to reward people. And these are things you too must learn. And in the process, because of the culture, the strategy of the company that you have imbibed, you have to get what we call internal marketing. Without internal marketing, the vision dies, because you need people to push the vision. And that is why theorists have said today that the biggest in the marketing mix is human capital. Oh, talk about the marketing mix. You talk about the price. You talk about the place. You talk about promotion. You talk about packaging. How have you been able to package Heritage Bank? How do you promote the bank? Where can Heritage Bank be found? Online, on land, both. But again, who are the people? Who are the people? And so the value of the man who drives Heritage Bank, whether as a car driver or as the chief executive, the value matters. Next slide. Next slide. And so you find that women and men, and this is coming from the American Psychological Association, that women and men are not different as so many people think. A review of dozens of studies, meta-analysis, found that men and women are basically alike when it comes to personality, thinking ability, and leadership. The differences that do exist may just reflect social expectations, not biology. And I talked about biology. At the end of the day, we are the same. We are the same. Because if you allow me to go back there, Adam that said, this is bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh, call her woman. And at the end of the day, it's the same. And so why discriminate? Why see the other gender as weak? So as a man, your value should also be in how you perceive and respect the opposite sex. Indeed, Tinsley and Robin Ellie wrote for the Harvard Business Review, May-June 2018, and posited, quote, there is wide variation among men and women, and meta-analysis show that on the average, the sexes are far more similar in their inclinations, attitudes, and skills than popular opinion would have us believe. So science has shown that women are equally as good as us men. So, dear chief from your village, forget what has happened in the palace. That was cultural. Scientifically, we are equal. They can achieve what you can achieve. They can become the group head, the managing director, the deputy managing director. Some banks now have women heading them. They can also become the chiefs of your board or the chief of your board. And so allow women be. The value of a man, the man who respects the opposite sex, that is what you should be. That is what you should strive to become. Next slide. Next slide. Now, what has led us here? When you talk about the value of men, so many men see them as the lower sex, the weaker sex. And it has come because of culture and tradition. We grew up hearing, seeing that women are to be seen, not heard, particularly when the elders gather, that they are good enough only for the kitchen. Religion. Some religion have also taught that women are number 2 or even 3, or should not be reckoned with at all. Even policies of government. Policies of government. If you look at your yearly budget as a country today, what do they give for the development of women? The Women Affairs Ministry. How do they rank there? How does government see them? Even in politics, how many women are in the Senate? How many in the House of Reps? Why are they not aspiring? Societal mindset. People just believe. It's also so in the USA, all over the world, that women should be where they are, still under men, below men. And of course, still from culture, patriarchy, stereotyping. And of course, these things started very, very many years ago. Indeed, centuries ago. Centuries ago, in Greece, Aristotle theorized that women are the weaker sex, they should not be seen, they should not be rated. Although Plato came out and looked at women better than Aristotle did, what the ILO is telling us all today to do, to raise our value as men, our self-worth, is to know that these women have come to complement us. And so what should obtain? Equal pay for work of equal value. Prevent and end gender-based violence and harassment. Let's promote work-life balance and equal share of care responsibilities. And then do with women equal participation in decision-making. Next slide. Workplace partnerships, and this takes us to fostering a better relationship with women. So as men, we have looked at values, our own value and the values of our organization. So the values of our organization will help our own value increase, will help us get better. I've narrowed the whole discourse, the whole topic to you within Heritage Bank. So as a man within Heritage Bank, these are the things that will increase your self-worth, things that will also help you work better, and at the end of the day, give you that you need. It is said about men and women as we go into workplace partnerships. Next slide. It was discovered that men, for example, research showed, indeed, a company called Luminati Inc. did the research. Next slide. Did the research. And their research showed that men prefer to ask questions around pay packets, benefits. So when you say benefits, the kind of car you give, the holidays you will go, other perks of office, authority, lines of authority. Those I will report to you. And women prefer such things as friendship within the office environment, communication within the office environment, respect within the office environment. And so while you are being macho, looking for the one that men like to look for, money, power, and others, know too that women, or know too that Heritage Bank was not formed for purely men. They did not advertise that post for a man, that women can equally do that which you now do. There may be no woman doing it now, but if you look far and far enough, you will find women that are able to do it. This is so because men and women now work side by side. They tackle the same business problems, attend the same meetings, have the same college degrees, and strive for the same promotions and positions. Go to Harvard, go to Yale University. You find women teaching, graduating. So the days are gone when the kitchen, when the mortar was all that they had. In any case, technological advancement in this age destroyed everything and show now that men are no longer the primary providers. Indeed, it can be argued that some women know how to use the telephone and all it contains than men. And so the women are becoming more advanced. Women are now pilots. Women now go to the moon. So the days of just saying all they do is to stay in the kitchen, no. Another thing women also like, so that you are able to foster relationships with them, is that they like family work balance. We talked about social expectations. Because it is the social expectation, not a duty as such. It is just the social expectation. So they like looking after children. They like being the ones that will prepare the meals. Social expectation, not responsibility. And so at the workplace, see them as people who like communications more than men, who like to be respected and to respect people, who also want work-family balance because of social expectations. In the current information age, women are equal in every significant way to men and will not return to sitting at home as their primary role. There will be a revolution if that is done. More women than men feel that they don't get credit for their ideas and that their contributions aren't recognized in the workplace. Theory proved this, that most women feel that they are segregated against, even in the workplace. And so companies have to now come up with a new workbook on how to integrate women more. And so for you as a man, you can start helping your bank by relating better with the female folks. Remember, I told you, they enjoy listening. They enjoy communication. They enjoy mutual respect. They look forward to family work balance. Yes, like you, they also look at the pay packet. Like you, they also want to know clear lines of authority flow. So don't come with your prejudices, your biases, and relate with them on that score. Because the bank did not say that you, because you are a man, you are the superior person within Heritage Bank. Men will have to broaden their horizon into what has been considered traditionally women's work. That's what I'm trying to say. So you move into areas where you think that the women need you, even within Heritage Bank, and be a supporter of the women. Be somebody who encourages them, next slide, to relate more with you. Your workspace should not be tight. Your workspace in the workplace should be accessible to your female folks. That way, you will foster a better relationship with your female colleagues. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. If you are not there, let me just keep going and then you follow. Okay. So to foster a good relationship between men and women in the workplace, in Heritage Bank, as a man, please understand that the company's vision is not to bring division, but to sustain the vision. I talked about the vision of the company. I talked about the vision of the company. So you must, at every time, try to ensure that the vision, THE, the vision is sustained and not division. So you must ensure that the vision is sustained and not division. I think my colleagues here want to quickly do something. Okay.
We can see you now. Hello, sir. We can see you now. Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. My colleague Akin is correcting a few things. We are sorry for a glitch.
Is that right?
Not to bring the vision. So it is to bring CHE vision, not DI vision. And so as a worker, at every point in time, try and work. If you want to encourage the female folks, work on CHE vision and not DI vision. Encourage more women to relate with you. Remember that it takes teamwork to make the dream work. So if you want to foster a good relationship between men and women in the workplace, in Heritage Bank, you've got to be a team player. Partisanship and patriarchy has no place in the workplace. Workplace equity must take the front seat. Social gatherings and business meetings where every member must listen and have the chance to speak are good to create dialogue. Like I said, the female folks, the women, they like communication. They like friendship. Understand that men and women have unique areas of strengths and skill sets. Play them up. So when you see a female folk, what is that key thing about her? What makes her unique? Play that up. And if you see what is bad, take your eyes off. Be the one who brings light to the room, not the one who divides the room. Avoid things outside the employee handbook, outside what your visionaries expect. Therefore, no sexual harassment. Mind your tone, your choice of words when addressing them. Managers must recognize and understand their own cultural biases and prejudices. And so don't carry the traditional title you have, the religious title you have, into the office. The office is a level playing ground. Discourage unconscious biases related to both gender. Encourage more women to take up leadership positions. Discourage gender stereotyped positions and roles in the workplace. Businesses need to rethink how productivity is measured. Be transparent. Embrace unique female strengths. I've explained that before. Provide more accurate and specific feedback, and challenge any form of gender discrimination. Power dynamics. Make sure at the end of the day that it is well aligned. Be an active listener, particularly to women. They like to listen. And don't just listen and go. Offer solutions. If you want to attract, hire, and retain top-tier talent, you need to compensate them fairly. And so if you are hiring women, compensate them like the men. Don't say because it's the woman, the man will take 100,000, the woman will take 80. Why? At the end of the day, you may just find out that they both graduated from the same university and that the woman even had a 2-1 and the man had a 3rd class. So make sure they all get the same thing. Exit interviews are useful. Know why some have left so that you can use that to plan again. Let your current employees guide your efforts as they provide valuable insights on things. I talked about the ILO. I mentioned them when I talked about Aristotle and Plato. The primary goal of the ILO today is to promote opportunities for women and men to obtain decent work in conditions of freedom, equity, security, and human dignity. And so if you want to foster a good relationship in Heritage Bank with the female folks, look at what the ILO has said. Forget the theories you learned in school, great philosopher. Those days are gone. Those things Aristotle theorized. The additions by Plato, let them die and let them be buried. We are in a new age, the age of the ILO, the International Labour Organization. And as the Director General of the ILO has posited, and that's Guy Ryder, humanity can only be at its best when gender equality becomes a reality for everyone, and we all must make it happen. So remember that your value as a man is encapsulated, is enveloped in the values of Heritage Bank, in the values of the workplace, in the values proposed by the International Labour Organization. Not from your village, not from your church, not from your home. You are the head of the home. That is where it stops. If you are the head of a section of the bank and you report to another section and a woman is your head, work with her. Give her her due respect. Never again say in the workplace, not be woman. There's nothing called woman. We are all equal in the workplace. At the end of the day, meta-analysis, great scientific works showed that they are the same as us. And finally, remember at every point in time that TEAM, which you call team, is key in fostering a better relationship. Because T, together, E, each, A achieves M, more. Or T, together, E, everyone, A achieves M, more. Wish you well. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for that, for the wonderful presentation. You know, one of the things that stuck out to me was when you say one of our values, you know, in the organization is to bring division is to sustain the vision and not to bring division. You know, it really struck me that, you know, as men, we play an important role in sustaining the vision of the organization, and also, you know, driving unity, if I may put it that way. Then also, maybe before I go on, I just want to tell all of the attendees that if you have any questions, the Q&A tab is currently open. You see it is like a question mark icon, so you can just click on it and type in your questions so that we can quickly run through some of the some of the questions that you may have. While the attendees do that, I would like to ask a question. So one of the first things you said was that our value is how people perceive us.
Yes.
Our value is how we are perceived by people. So I wanted to ask.
And also by yourself.
Okay, and also by yourself. So I want to ask, which is more important? Which would is it how you are perceived by others, or which should you worry about more? Should you worry more about how you perceive yourself or how you are perceived by others? Because I know perception is key. Perception is key in everything that we do. In fact, in some cases, perception is almost reality, if I may put it that way. So I wanted to ask, is it important for me to worry about how I perceive myself, my own competencies, my confidence level, and all of that, or I should worry about what people think about me?
Right. In answering you, I will just take you to something theorized very, very many years ago by a guy called Charles Horton Cooley. Charles Horton Cooley, in the year 1902, talked about the looking glass self. First, he said, how do you see yourself? Because it is how you see yourself that matters. You've internalized everything your bank wants you to know about the bank. So if you have put yourself in a proper frame, people will see you as good. For example, we can't do this without talking sports. The team of 1994, Super Eagles of 1994, and today's Super Eagles, it comes down to how they packaged themselves, and then that led to how people started perceiving them.
Okay.
So that is why it is said, even in branding, that the first thing you do with a product is to ensure it is well packaged. That's what they call the brand promise. And so what is the personal promise? What are you delivering to Heritage Bank? What are you delivering to the world? So it is how you first see yourself. Therefore, that is why your parents send you to school. That's why you've gone to school. That's why you are doing self-development. That's why you look at the mirror before you leave. You want to be sure your dressing is fine before you go out, because you are the denominator for how others will now see you. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, it does. It does. So
first, it comes down to putting yourself right, making yourself attractive, making yourself the one they talk about, making yourself good in the eyes of others. And indeed, how you see yourself in the mirror is how they will see you outside. Theorized Cooley in 1902. First, your perception of yourself. Two, how others perceive you. But how others perceive you, to a great extent, is based on how you perceive yourself. And that perception also comes with conduct. How you perceive yourself, how you conduct yourself. So if you are the one who enters a room in the office and it goes dark, if you are the one who likes murmuring, gossiping, have you heard, have you heard, have you heard, in the workplace, soon they will tag you, Mr. Have you heard?
All right. Yes, I think that answers my question. There's a statement you made, about having a brand promise, even as an individual, that there's something, your value, your self-worth is very important, because that's what rubs off and that's what translates into how you are viewed. I have another question, and this is regarding how we treat women. So over the past few years, there has been some level of, awareness for equality for the female gender and all of that. And you would agree with me that some men might see that as trying to shrink the male gender, or trying to, what's the word now? Just basically trying to reduce the value of the male gender. I don't know if you could just speak to that. Speak to men who feel that way, who feel like, why is it important, to speak on equality and all of that? Men who feel diminished by the progress being made as regards equality and as regards, supporting the female gender.
Thank you very much. We were coming from the Stone Age, and from the Stone Age, here we are. We've passed the Industrial Revolution, and we are into what I like to call the technological revolution. So it's more about miniature gadgets than big machines. And so from the very dark, we've come to the light. In those dark ages, people needed to do things that most men did. And so culture also came into play. It was forbidden in the Stone Age, or even in the days of Aristotle, Plato, and these bench women and the bench women philosophers. They saw men do most of the things, so they theorized. And even in the days of early religion, you find that most of the things done were done by men. When it was time to look for somebody to look after the Garden of Eden, it was a man. When it was time to get people to become disciples, it was male. So women were relegated. They were discriminated with advancements, with the growth of the world, with innovation, with scientific discoveries, is that women have now started moving into the frame, into the picture. And so what we never had, we now have. Only a few days ago, I flipped through the papers and I saw a Nigerian airline celebrating their first women to fly their new airplane.
Yeah, I saw that.
Those are things that are now beginning to happen. Take football, for example. It was a game for men. Take boxing, purely for men. But now the world is saying that women are equally endowed. People are beginning to say, you did not prove it scientifically, Aristotle. You were not there to do any empirical work, Plato. And so people who have done real empirical work have now come to see that women are the same as men. Intellectually endowed like you, have strengths like you. It may not be in terms of lifting too many weights physically, but it may be in terms of lifting emotional weights. It may be in terms of seeing more than you do, being meticulous. That's another strength. Communicating better, sharing responsibilities, knowing at the end of the day that you leave home to come to the office. And while you are in the office looking at only pay, they are stronger than you because they are also in the office working and yet remembering there's a home to return to. And so based on all this, women have climbed up the ladder. And what the ILO is now saying everybody should do is to know that at the end of the day, men and women are equal. Your office, nobody, I believe, in Heritage Bank said this bank will be for only men. The same thing you think you know, the women also know. Check most schools today, check graduation ceremonies, and see women coming out in flying colors. They deserve the respect that we should give to them.
Oh, thank you very much. That was very apt. You have nailed the question correctly. So at this point, I just want to welcome in one of my senior colleagues who will be giving the vote of thanks for this particular seminar and for the International Men's Day celebrations. So I'd like to welcome in Mrs. Ozena Utulu. She's the head of corporate communications and Heritage Bank. Ozena, you're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much, Timothy. Thank you, Dr. Larry. Thank you. It was quite an impactful and insightful session. In fact, I must say, the little I know, I know that Dr. Larry actually runs an inclusive business model. I know even from the inception, his vision, everything, it's all inclusive. He has both genders equally well represented in his business. So there's no other, I don't think there would have been a better person to have taken this topic today, the value of men in the workplace, fostering better relationships between men and women. Thank you very much. And in saying this, just to buttress a little bit on what you spoke about, indeed, our MD CEO, Dr. Ifesekibo, is actually particular about inclusive banking. I would quote something he has said before. He said that one of the greatest roles of a leader is to transfer the vision of an organization to the members of his team, That goes to say that he's particular about inclusion of all people. He's in particular about inclusive-ness when it comes to business and the transference of the vision. So I heard you when you were speaking about the vision being cascaded to everyone, both genders. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was indeed very, 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 very insightful. And I think the women already, because I had one or two female colleagues say, oh, I'm missing this session. I need to hear it. And I said, don't worry, we're going to have, and in case you missed it, and you'll be able to listen. Thank you very much, Dr. Larry. So thank you. And on behalf of our MD CEO, Dr. Ifesekibo, who has given us the unreserved support that we need to have held last year's session, this year's session, and we still have another session coming next year. We just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you very much. So our wonderful host, Timothy, thank you. Thank you very much. Dr. Larry, thank you. And I'm sure we will still do more. And thank you for always answering or honoring, at least in the last 2 years, each time we've come to you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Larry. Thank you, Timothy. Timothy, I hand over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Ozena. Dr. Larry, once more, I just want to appreciate you for taking out time, to spend this few hours with us, on this session. We appreciate your wealth of knowledge, and we appreciate the gems that you've blessed us with this morning. We may not have 1 million to send to your account like Davido, but you can just accept our our heartful thanks and warm wishes. We wish you happy International Men's Day, and to all of the men in Heritage Bank and all the men currently on this session, I say happy International Men's Day to you once more. We celebrate you. You are great. You are valued. You can achieve anything you set your mind to. Thank you very much once more for this opportunity, and do have a wonderful and fantastic day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
All right, sir.
Thank you, sir. Happy International Men's Day. Thank you.
Bye. Okay. So we can leave the meeting.